All right, hello and welcome to another episode in our carrier product update series here at Legacy Brokers. We have our featured carrier today is UnitedHealthcare, and more specifically All Savers and their alternate funded product. For those that aren't familiar with Legacy Brokers, we are a health insurance general agency located in Lenexa, Kansas, which is part of the Kansas City metropolitan area. We actually work with agents, though, in multiple markets throughout the country. Our focus is on small group health, and our specialty is in small group self-funded products. And we help agents, really help agents build, protect, and preserve their books of business using the vast network of carriers and product options throughout the market. We also have events throughout the year. We're coming off of the heels of our self-funded university series, which is a three-part series where we really took a look at the basics of self-funding. Then we analyzed different self-funded quotes and then broke down actual self-funded claims reports. We do have other classes coming up throughout the rest of the year and other opportunities to really get information straight from the carriers in our product update series. So be sure to check out our website for upcoming events. Today, the process is on Zoom. You are in a participant-only mode, so you are on mute. If you've got questions throughout the presentation, particularly if you have questions with regard to the All Savers product, be sure to use that Q&A feature on the Zoom app to ask topic-specific questions. If you have technical issues with Zoom or got a problem, hearing the presentation, drop those in the chat. We do have team members behind the scenes that will assist you where they can. And then we do want your participation throughout this process. So if you have questions that you want to interject in the middle of the presentation, feel free to use the raise hand feature. And what we'll do from there is we'll actually ask you to unmute yourself, bring you into the presentation, and let you ask your question live. There is a preferred way for you to really view this presentation, and Rick will kind of walk you through that here.
Yeah, so if you look at your screen and go to the top right hand of your screen, you'll see this view button. Go ahead and click on the view button and you hit side-by-side speaker. Once you click on that, you should see the presentation on your left and then us on the right. And then if you see this, if you roll your mouse to the left, between the presentation and our view, you can scroll it in and out, move it to left or right, and it grows your presentation or shrinks it. So adjust it to the right settings that you want, and then you'll be good to go.
Perfect. Thanks, Rick. After today, if you do have questions for us, feel free to reach out to our office here at Legacy Brokers. Our contact information is on the screen there. And if you haven't done so already, join us on LinkedIn. We have a lot of content that we share in our LinkedIn profile. So go out and like or follow Legacy Brokers on LinkedIn. If you like the presentation today or any of the services that we provide to you as an agent, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Google Reviews. We need to update that image. I think we said that last time. I think we're actually finally above 4.4.
We are. We made it.
It started with realizing that somebody we didn't know that was probably a misidentified company.
Sierra
Yes. Told us we were a shady organization, but I don't think she was talking about us. So help us get that.
Talking about you, really.
Help us get that rating up with 5-star reviews. We'd appreciate it. Be sure to check out our website for additional resources throughout the year. Today we are talking about UnitedHealthcare's All Savers product, and it's a great product. It's a really instrumental program for us in the things that we do here at Legacy Brokers and the services we deliver to our agents. My information is up on the screen. I can just tell you that my background really is has come from the self-funded side of things. When I got started in the industry, I started with a third-party administrator in Overland Park. Worked through different departments in that organization, from administration to underwriting on to sales, and then actually spent 10 years out as an independent producer, much like many of you out there, trying to find the right product at the right price to fit the needs of the prospects and clients that I was talking to. And it was really 7.5 years ago that entered into this venture with two of my best friends, putting together Legacy Brokers and you know, taking that to a different level where we're really helping agents out in the market.
And like I commonly say, you know, most people found themselves in the industry. I knew it was going to be here, so I went special forces to prepare me for the turbulence in the industry. And turns out that was probably the right path because it's pretty turbulent in the industry. So then the opportunity to form agency with Jason and Bob, and that's where I'm at now, and did a little consulting with a big tech company, 2 master's degree and married with kids. So they keep us pretty active. I'll tell you the introduction to Mark. I think there's a good question that come up from Jess. Is this Mark's evil twin or the real Mark George on the golf course? So that would be a good intro to Mark. I'll let you answer that question and kind of go into who you are. So is it the evil twin here or?
Thanks a lot, Jess. I've got a new hip, so watch out. I'm taking 10 strokes off my score. I'm 3 weeks out from hip surgery, yet I'm here. First broker call since then, so excited to be here. Like I said, Mark George, I've been with UnitedHealthcare going on 32 years, coming up on my 30th wedding anniversary, so that's exciting. Got 2 kids out of college, so I'm good to go, and all the money's going in my pocket now, so I'm excited about that, but excited to talk to you about Allsavers today.
That's great. I didn't have a whole lot to put up there on the screen because I wanted to talk about the fact that I've actually known you my entire insurance career. When I got started as an independent producer, you were like the first guy I turned to because I think I was quoting a UnitedHealthcare case, and you were gracious enough not to laugh at me because I didn't know anything about fully insured at the time. Everything I knew was self-funded, and so here I'm talking to you about a small group pre-ACA, small group quote, trying to figure out the nuances of fully insured, and realized it was a heck of a lot easier than learning the complexities of self-funding. But we've been friends a long time, and Mark, I appreciate you taking the time out. It's a very special time out today because it is your birthday today.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! We're not going to sing. But happy birthday! I appreciate it. I know you were scheduled to be off today on your birthday and enjoying the opportunity to sleep in, but you got up early. You actually showered
And shaved and put on clothes.
That's great.
I don't have my swimsuit T-shirt on my Zoom calls at home.
So we do.
Trifecta.
You're a friend of mine. You're a friend of Legacy. We appreciate you coming out. So
appreciate you having me. Legacy's a quality organization, my top agency by far, and excited to be here.
I'll pay you for that later. Appreciate it.
That's good.
Good stuff.
Good to know.
All right. So Mark, take it away, right? So I know we've got in our market, we're talking in Kansas City in particular, but we've got agents that are logged in here from all parts of the country. We've got like 60, somewhere north of 60 agents, producing agents in 14 different states. Allsavers is an integral part of what we deliver. I know it's expanded too. I mean, the availability is expanded pretty much.
Very excited. The biggest state we just added was California. It's effective 9/1 with our new portfolio when we roll it out. We expect to have Montana and Alaska on board for January of 2022, which will only leave us with New Hampshire, Vermont, and Hawaii that aren't licensed for Allsavers. We're working on those. So hopefully within the next year, we have every state covered and that there is. And you can go on broker calls with me in Hawaii.
But we just talked about Hawaii. We can go do
Right,
I mean, if we could get some agents out there, we do some open enrollments.
We absolutely do that. We'll absolutely do open enrollment. We'll give up one.
Let's hope we get Allsavers there very soon.
No, that's great. So I know in all the markets that we're in, it's been a piece of our marketing strategy. Really talking to agents about the product and the nuances of the product. And we talked about our self-funded university. We talked pretty extensively about going in and looking at the fixed cost versus the claims, looking at the claims data, looking at the the surplus return, looking at the contracts, the actual specific and aggregate run out piece, and how you can build a product that protects the small group that doesn't know anything about self-funding. They are coming off of a fully insured contract. For them, it's largely a commoditized rate play, right?
Right.
So tell us what's the unique what's unique about All Savers, and then you guys have that bill.
So the main thing, well, first of all, let me say, All Savers currently in 1 to 100 is our most competitive product in most markets. The only nuance to that is that obviously you have to be a fairly healthy group and you have to be ERISA qualified. So not-for-profits, schools,
Churches,
et cetera,
counties, we can't do
aren't
those.
eligible for All Savers today. Based on the current legislation, that may change, you'll never know. But I know some carriers will write them, not sure how that works out because there's a board of directors and not an owner that's a contract with. The second thing that I like is that versus the big bad insurance company keeping profits at the end of the day, this product gives you an ability to, and does give you the ability to share in profits. So if you run better than we expect you're going to run, you have a chance to refund at the end of the year. And last but not least, it avoids state mandated benefits. So you're saving, people don't know this, but under the Affordable Care Act, about a 9 to 10% rate increase to the rates because of all the additional mandated benefits and taxes, the Corey fees, et cetera, reinsurance fees to set up the exchange were paid for by insurance companies through the premiums charged to their employers. So it avoids that, which makes this product a win-win for everyone. And as long as they're healthy enough to go through the underwriting process, and it varies by market, we get some generally in the 5 to 10 market, we require applications. Most markets are at 10 and above for what we call GRX or group prescription underwriting. So it's not that difficult. You don't have to get applications for most of your groups. And if they do qualify, the rates are generally that experience 12 to 15% less than the comparable ACA rate in the market that you're in. So it's a win-win all the way around, unless the group, like I said, is not healthy or not qualified for the product itself. But as you can see, I'm not going to go through this word by word, but I mentioned it avoids the state mandated, it has lower premium taxes. It does have a 1260 run out. So people are concerned about that. There's some examples. If you look at Medicare, I've seen them come back as much as 3 years later and say, Mr. Employer, I paid a claim I shouldn't have. You're now on the hook to pay this claim that Medicare paid that they shouldn't have in the beginning. You have that full 5-year protection. I think it's the longest of any level funded carrier out there as far as run out goes.
It's a little over the top.
So I do like that.
Why not 61? No, I'm sorry.
Well,
Blame it on the military.
let's talk through that 1260 because I think it trips a lot of people up. And the key when we talk about run out contracts and self-funded plans is you've got 12 months to incur claims.
Correct.
What the 60 tells us is that UnitedHealthcare is going to provide excess loss protection above and beyond whatever the specific excess loss deductible is or the individual stop loss.
Sure, which is 15,000 in most cases.
Most cases at 15. Although something that a lot of agents don't know is that we can dial that up to 20,
30 or 45, and double or triple.
So depending on the size of the case, obviously,
Right.
what makes sense. And then there's some advantages there. But so incurred in 12, a 12-month policy, and UnitedHealthcare then provides the excess loss protection for a full 60 months. So the initial 12, and then a run out protection of 48 additional months, which gets you the total of 60.
Correct.
And what that means is the employer pays 12 months worth of premiums and claims factors and all those things, right? Their bill for 12 months. Yes. UnitedHealthcare is on the hook for whatever comes in excess of their monthly payment for a total of 60 months.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, what was interesting to me, and I didn't know this until this is one of those things that I just assumed that you guys kept whatever surplus, and that was, the 2/3, 1/3, and we'll get into that here in a second. But what was interesting to me is we had an agent with a group that had left All Savers and moved on to some other plans. And after the 60th month, you get UnitedHealthcare does another reconciliation.
Correct.
And returns whatever is left.
Right. The 1/3 it's a 2/3, 1/3 contract. So we hold the 1/3 back for incurred but not yet paid claims that come in late. I mean, I know I've seen claims on myself come in 3 or 4 months after the fact. I don't know if they filed with the wrong carrier, filed with an old policy number, and we're still going to pay those claims incurred in the 12-month period, 4 years later. And after those administrative costs and those claims are paid, if that 1/3 has monies left, we will return it at that time.
Yeah, I had no idea. And so for all intents and purposes, I just assumed you guys kept the 1/3 and we all moved on and everything was great. It wasn't until we actually had a group that called and said,
got some money.
I got, what is this? We haven't been with UnitedHealthcare for like 6 years. Like,
Well,
that's the
That's the
residual.
leftover administrative fee.
So what's interesting about that is what you don't do is UnitedHealthcare doesn't come back and go, well, hey, the 1/3 that we kept wasn't enough. We got to take some of that 2/3 back. It settles up whenever you do the reconciliation. It settles up at that point, and if the 1/3's not enough, that's your own risk at UnitedHealthcare.
Correct.
But whatever is left, you do return.
Right. That's what I want people to get comfortable with. This, even though this is a level funded contract, the way this contract is built, it's truly no risk to the employer. With 60 months of run out, or et cetera, and the 1/3 payout at the end, 5 years later, there is no reason, there's no lacering, there's no debt carry forward. You see true level funding, they'll take the guy with cancer and they'll put $100,000 specific on him. That's not the way this product works. It smells, tastes, and breathes just like a fully insured plan with the ability, like I said, of a refund with no risk to the client at the back end.
Yeah. And some of the other things we talked about in the basics of self-funding, we talk about minimum attachment point, and if a group is shrinking, they're not a great candidate for self-funding, and particularly if the excess loss policy has that gotcha with the minimum attachment point. With UnitedHealthcare, there is no minimum attachment point. The actual attachment point changes from month to month based on actual enrollment. So if you have 10 employees in month 1, and your attachment point is calculated on those 10 employees, by month 3, if you lose a few, it adjusts monthly, so that's your minimum and maximum attachment point each month.
Correct. Exactly. Then the key thing to all this is that if you're a 10 life group on ACA, do you know how you're running on a monthly basis?
Oh gosh, no. Right.
You have no idea, and you renew with a block, and you don't know what that increase will be at the end of the year. With All Savers, you're a 10 life case, works like a 100 life case that's true level funded. You get monthly claim reports. So you see on a monthly basis how you're doing. So it's no surprise at the end of the year, you'll know if you're getting a refund or not.
Oh yeah.
How you're running, how many claims are hitting your 15,000 specific, how your prescription drug claims are running, because they're broken out for medical claims every single month, and your agent gets a copy of a report to see exactly how your group's running.
Makes the agent's job a lot easier, right? Because he doesn't have to go sell like, hey, wait, why I'm getting increased again? Well, I can show you right here everything that's happening. To your point earlier, we see the case here about the participation of the enrollment, right? So that comes into play for if you have a lot of churn in your employees and they leave a lot and they go up and down. We've seen what was that? What type of company it was? It was the company that would had a lot of churn in their employees.
You got a roofing company.
I mean, this one was I think they were like a UPS or FedEx contract.
Right.
They had a lot of turnover, and it didn't impact the risk to the employer. The risk to the employer is still their monthly bill.
Right,
sure.
Well, we had one that had a attachment that was a lot lower, and then they wound up having to pay to catch up. Right, with the All Savers product, you won't have that
Oh
problem.
yeah,
right?
no, yeah, that's different programs that have those attachment point minimums. That's a risk to the smaller group, and United's kind of addressed that on the front end by not having it. The other thing that I like to point out to people is with the All Savers product, there's no early termination penalties. So if a group, we have groups all the time that they get acquired by. It's a small company that does really well at what they do, and they get recognized and sell off their business. If they're in the middle of a self-funding contract, a true ASO kind of self-funding contract, you got to be really careful about terminating that policy early, because if you've got stop loss claims that are lingering out there,
Sure.
The excess loss policy says, hey, you got to pay me a full 12 months for premiums. All Savers says, hey, if you've paid us 6 months worth of premiums, we're going to give you, instead of a 1260 contract, now it's a 654 contract.
Right.
It just reduces the tail by the amount of time that they didn't fulfill on the front end.
Right. The only negative to that is that an early termination or terming at renewal, you are void of getting a refund check. That's the only negative.
It's the trade-off.
Terming.
It's
the trade-off versus risk.
Yeah, United's taken all that risk off the small business.
Exactly.
It's the trade-off is, hey, you gotta stick with this.
Right. The only other things on here, like I said, just want to point out, the no-cost virtual care, especially with COVID-19 out there, there's a slide on it. I'm gonna go through a little bit in a second here, but it hopefully convinces people to use the virtual care because people are scared. I don't know. The last place I want to be during COVID is in the doctor's office with 6 other people that might have COVID sitting in the waiting room with me. So virtual care has gone, the utilization has gone through the roof in the last 12 months, as you can imagine.
So COVID obviously has its place in the conversation, but for me, it's the difference of going to an urgent care clinic where I walk in because I have a sinus infection and all I really want is I want my Z
back.
And
Yes.
I sit down in a chair out in the little waiting room back in the back of the store, and I'm sitting next to a 4-year-old who's
Hacking
just
coffee.
everywhere, right? Slobbering and all over the chair.
Exactly.
I go in for a sinus infection, come out with hand, foot, and mouth. So that's why I love virtual care. It's been a fantastic product for our family for years. So.
Right. The last thing I'll mention on that slide is we do have the same ancillary portfolio on fully insured and all savers. Package savings is available on both for discounts for bundling your packages together.
You mean we have to still take dental and vision and stuff?
I know it's a tough sell.
For 20 years, you've been telling me to sell dental and
I
vision.
know. I'm just doing what I can.
So we talked about the the extra protection in the 1260, but something you pointed out was this Medicare clawback that it wasn't. This is one of those things that gets lost in a lot of the conversations when we talk about self-funding, particularly if groups are moving from fully insured contracts. I generally address, why do I need all this run-out protection? There's subrogation, if there's an auto claim or a homeowner's claim or some other insurance policy, a work comp or something, and then there's coordination of benefits. It might delay a claim. Providers might just be slow to bill. But this is one that I wanted to park here for a second because this was a fact I didn't know, and that was Medicare clawback of previously paid claims was more prevalent in groups of 5 to 50, and you guys have on the All Savers side data processed after 30 months.
Yes. So that means Medicare is coming back up, like 3 years later and saying, we paid this claim, we've done a coordination of benefits review, and we've now determined that no, that's on you, the employer. So if you buy a 48-month contract from one of our competitors that doesn't have the coverage for longer than that, who is on the hook for that claim? The employer. And you can see the highest payment was $70,000. Would you love to be an employer who pays an annual premium of $200,000 and 3 years into your new policy, you realize the old carrier only had 48 months of run out. They come back in the later and require a $70,000 check back from them because they don't have enough run out. Yeah. It's a scary thing.
That is scary. So then trying to think through the actual scenario. So you've got somebody who would be eligible for Medicare, actually enrolled in Medicare, also enrolled in an All Savers plan. So with dual coverage.
Right. Or you have a group that's, on the border of 20 full and part-time employees that their Medicare eligibility may change. There's all sorts of things that could happen.
So then it's really, we just need to make sure if we've got groups that are Medicare secondary, we just need to make sure that All Savers has them set up on the front end as Medicare secondary. I mean, obviously if they grow and they cross that threshold, we just have to
be sure to note the employer notifies you, so we switch that, make it group plan primary versus Medicare primary and back and forth.
And I know on the small group side, the small group fully insured side, the ACA said there's a lot of that. There's a participation audit that you guys check for.
Right, to be sure we're in the right, we have it set up correctly.
Is that as part of that audit to also check for Medicare secondary payer rules?
Very much so, because that affects COBRA, state continuation, Medicare rules, etc. That's the number one reason for the audit.
All right. So we don't want to sneak a 30 life case in the door and tell you it's really only 6.
Right, and becomes Medicare primary. And all the
set it up as Medicare primary.
And all the 65-year-old claims are paid wrong.
All right. That's important to know.
Very.
So then let's walk through the surplus because this is something we kind of touched on, but this is something that's a little unique to also.
Like I mentioned earlier, as long as the group must renew with us and after the 12th month when they get to renewal, and if so, on the 15th month, if they're still with us, we do a reconciliation. We then take the claim reports we got, the most recent information we have, And if they haven't met our claim pick or whatever you want to call it, the total maximum liability, and there's money left over, we immediately cut a check for 2/3 of that surplus premium and send a check to the employer in the 16th month.
And that's a check.
That's a check. Now, it's not a premium credit. It's just the straight money going back to the employer. So they're getting a refund of their actual premium they paid into us. And as Jason mentioned earlier, 1/3 we hold back to pay those incurred but not yet paid claims. That could be, hell, it could be a year later. I see all sorts of strange things with that. And you can see the national average versus what Kansas and Missouri are paying, which is our two main markets here, and what the average refund is between $6,000 and $7,000. So that's money that normally in the fully insured ACA world, big bad insurance company would keep, and it would go towards their profits and their stock and not come back to the employer. So they have some meat in the game, but they really don't. There's no exposure, but they have the ability of getting money back. Worst case scenario, you get money back. You don't owe us any extra.
And this is tied to every product.
Every all service plan design we sell, yeah.
And I know, we're not going to get into product grids in this conversation because we do have agents that are logged in from multiple markets.
Oh, sure.
And I'll say that if you after this meeting, if you've got some questions about the All Savers product grid, we can pull and send to you the product grid for whatever state, whatever market you're in. I know in our market, we've got a Kansas City product grid, and we've got an outstate Missouri product grid,
an outstate Kansas product grid.
But overall, though, I mean, the structure is pretty flexible. I know I've seen sometimes we get a little too comfortable with a product family, and so we kind of zone in on the PPO. But what's interesting about the proposals that we see from All Savers is that Prime Focus kind of jumps in on the front end, and it's an attractive offer because it's no copay on the primary care, no copay on tier 1 drugs, and so kind of models after that, really targeting the primary care.
Yeah. Nationally, our primary advantage on ACA, which is called Primary Focus on All Savers, is probably our lead product, because with that 0 PCP copay, our other plans still have the no kid copay feature, but this is a no PCP code for everybody. And it's 7 to 8% less money directing people away from the specialist, which is normally $100 copay on these plans, back to the PCP and having them coordinate your care. Too many people are getting used to going straight to their specialist, which are generally triple the cost of your primary care physician. That 7 out of 10 times can take care of that situation without going to the specialist. And if need be, they can still send you on that way if that's the path you need to go.
I knock the carrier model a lot, and I mean I'll own it here. I knock the carrier model a lot too because it's a cookie cutter. You gotta find the right flavor cookie. But I'd say United and All Savers does a good job of providing a lot of different options. While we can't go in and customize those options, you can generally find something that fits what the strategy that you're trying to deploy.
Sure.
And you can generally find something that really fits the employer's budget, and it doesn't take sacrificing a lot of benefits.
Exactly.
And brand names matter. UnitedHealthcare, people understand that, right? So it gives security. That's right. So it's security with the employer. So it's not a hard sell. They know that company. They know the reputation.
Yes.
Strongest name in the industry for sure. You mentioned the no kid copay, and that's something that obviously you lose the sizzle and the primary focus plans, but that on the PPO, even on the EPO plans, it's a no copay for primary care for kids up to 19.
Correct. Yes.
We both have 4 kids.
Yeah, four kids.
4 kids.
4 times a year. That's savings of $500.
The past week's been 3 times, I think I've been there. So.
Right. So that's a big feature that no one's gone to, and it's a great benefit of having young families, especially makes a big difference for sure.
And then this lab and X. So I want to go into the lab and X-ray piece because it's kind of hard to find if you don't know what you're looking for in the product grids, but it's the LX plans. Right.
So when you're quoting, it's actually, we have basically 2 portfolios. So when you're in the initial quoting system, you'll let us know. Most companies have gone to deductible and co-insurance for minor lab and X-ray. Those are low cost items, minor lab work, $12, $15, minor X-ray. I just had one on my knee done. It's $30, $40. So the price differential by selecting that up front is 2-3% savings to do the deductible co-insurance. Or if you're on some rich plan that's 100% plan and you want to pay that 100%, you want to pay 3% more, you just click a box and that whole, all the plans in that quote will have it that way. Same thing with the drug list that's below our standard Advantage 4-tier, or what we call our essential 4-tier, which we're moving towards, which basically means Walgreens is our key agency because another carrier bought CVS. That's a major competitor of ours, and because of that, we're trying to incent people to use Walgreens.
Other way around, the pharmacy bought the carrier.
Or what he has. It depends if you're talking to that rep or not, if he says that
Fair
the
enough, fair enough.
but yeah, CVS did buy that A company. So
Yeah. And the distinguishing mark, at least in some of the product grids and some of the markets, the E plans signify that they're the EPO, which is
in network
taking your choice plus choice
National
plus is
network.
the in and out of network, and the
Right.
choice is really just taking your same network. It's just
Right.
not giving any.
right. And once again, there's another way to save 2 to 3% is doing an in-network only plan, still using our national network. We have less than 2% national leakage of all claims. That means, you know, your chance of finding a doctor out of the network is difficult. So you're not going to have, so it's really worth the save. You're talking about, you know, almost 6% by choosing deductible co-insurance on your lab and x-ray and then going with the EPO plans. So depending on the situation, if it's a local with a great network, why not?
Yeah.
Or dual option it with a PPO
I'll
plan.
tell you, this goes back to the claims reporting. When we look at groups and we're analyzing their claims reports throughout the year, and we see that we're not leaking out to a non-par provider. That's a conversation for, we could flip to the EPO renewal, save 3-4%.
Make a good point. Your monthly reports will show in-network versus out-of-network utilization.
You're not going to get that with some of the other products. You're not going to see that.
No,
deviation.
no idea.
So you kind of briefly touched on the prescription drug program. Anything?
Nothing else other than obviously on the essential, not having CVS as part of the network, choosing Walgreens or Anchor. There are 4 or 5 states in the Northeast that don't have Walgreens. We still have CVS in those markets. Didn't list them here, but if you have any questions in your local market, we can definitely let you know.
For sure. I was going to skip over specialty. But
Sure.
You hate it when I do that.
Oh, that's fine. I already mentioned this.
No, this is really
I already
good.
mentioned it. So we do have our own, you know, a lot of carriers rent or have partnerships with other companies. UnitedHealthcare owns their own dental network. We own our own vision network. We own our own life network. We've got people from Unum that run our disability products. So we have specialists in-house, great network. Obviously, if you have a 20-life group, you really want on every term in addition, add people onto 6 different companies to your employer navigate portal or whatever you're using at the time. So some people say it's okay. The products are out there. If you want to bond them together, great. If you don't, you know.
Well, what's good about that, it's an easy sell. It's all bundled together, right? You have to group medically, hey, have you thought about this? It comes together, I think, every time I think you get that quote.
Right, and there's discounts available. We'll give you 1 for packaging life, 2 for packaging vision, and 3 for packaging dental, as long as it's employer paid products. So there's a little financial savings there.
And those are dollars PPM.
Dollars that are saved on every bill, credited on every bill every month.
No, I think it's great. I've always been self-funded medical guy that ignores it.
One additional thing, the product, obviously wellness is big in any benefit program, keep your employees healthy. We have 3 programs. I'll briefly go through those slides on each. Rally is an online wellness tool for weight loss with recipes, with games, contests, you earn tokens to put in for prizes we give every month. Healthiest You is what the name of our virtual visit program is. That will go in a little more detail in a minute, and Real Appeal as well. Go to the next couple slides here, and I can go through them. Healthiest You, as I said, is our no-cost virtual visit program. The neat thing about ours, last year we enhanced the benefits. So let's say your spouse and children are covered under a plan at work that doesn't offer virtual visits. You're not even insured under the plan. Under Healthiest You, they can use this program at no additional cost.
Yeah, they just go into the app and they add whoever they want, as long as they're a dependent, they just add them into the
Under
app.
the virtual visit on your app, whether it be on your phone, through your computer, through your tablet, or whatever, and they'll give you advice over the phone. And I don't know of any other care that does that.
No.
Wow, and they can prescribe medication.
They can prescribe medication. You got that sinus infection, you're not going to the urgent care center. They can
Heck no.
diagnose your child over the phone who's covered under his wife's plan at work and not drag that kid off, especially while you're working from home most of the time now with COVID-19.
I just cut to the chase. I just tell the doctor, I'm just here for the lead pack, man. I don't need to do anything else.
Self-diagnosis, Dr. Powers.
They love that.
Dr.
They love
Powers
that.
at work.
They really appreciate
I
that.
do. I already checked Dr. Eagle. It says I need feedback.
They really appreciate that.
Real appeal is a neat program. It's purely about weight loss. Depending on your BMI, if it's greater than 20, it's an online wellness tool. We send you a success kit in the mail with jump ropes, DVDs, recipe cards, online coaching, all sorts of things to help you lose weight. This has been a very popular. We've had several employees in our office use Real Appeal and really got them into a healthier place. Yes, I know I need to sign up and I'll be doing so.
Does it make me walk? I don't like to walk.
It does. It tracks a little bit of everything. Yes, it does. Like I said, we do brain sharks. Jason will send you links. We send links. We have monthly meetings for states that include motion and don't. Kansas and Missouri, our local markets here, don't have motion, but several states do. Texas does, for example, where you can earn up to $3 a day and buy down your deductible. So that's a neat little program.
Right,
We
which
can go
brain
through
shark
the
again?
detail. And brain sharks will explain that and talk about the basics of all funding. There's several different things it talks about here that you can use for your employers groups in addition to the monthly broker training.
Yeah, little videos that you guys send out, and they're kind of encapsulated in their own environment.
Yes.
Brain shark
Yeah,
environment.
different little snippets, usually 20, 30 minutes long, just kind of go over different aspects of the all service program.
Okay.
And coming up on the horizon.
And new, we just found this the other day at a meeting, actually just last week, that we're doing the 1095Bs now for employees, 50 or less employees. It seems like every year people call me about this. I'm not sure if the individual mandate's still out there where these are required, but we provide them in case your accountant asks for them when you do your taxes. Mine still lasts for mine, even though I thought Trump got rid of it, but that is that.
Yeah.
And then next, we certain markets have what I call smaller networks to drive better pricing opportunities. For example, in the Kansas City market, we partnered with St. Luke's and Children's Mercy this year, and the pricing is about 14% less to only have those two hospital systems and still the large network of access points. There's another here in town that has a reduced network that has like 7 touch points. We have like 156 touch points with this core network. So still provides a great level of service, probably better off dual optioning it with somebody, but once again, like out of network outside of Kansas City uses our Choice Plus national network. So the risk is small, but it's a great base buy-up option for any group that's located in the Kansas City metro, and we can look at your specific market and see if that network is available there as well.
Yeah, actually, I looked at a quote down in Houston here recently. There is a core equivalent
Right.
Type of network, and we looked, and it's aligned with one hospital
Sure.
system.
Sure.
But you in certain markets, you find the group that's where they all go anyway.
Right.
Why not save the 14%? I've said for years, this idea of having this large PPO network where you can just go anywhere, it's going to lead to our costs continue to go up and up and up,
Right.
because there's really no control over pricing.
Right.
But at the top here, effective 10/1.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
something
save the
I'm
best for last.
Super excited.
And our ACA groups have always been able to get deductible out-of-pocket credit. People may not know, All Savers is an old AMS product, American Medical Security product. So the way that was built, it was not built for the ability to give out-of-pocket credit. So I've been pushing since we've been selling this now. I guess this is our 7th year selling the All Savers product for this exact thing. And they just announced, you're the first to hear this, that as of 10/1 this year, 2 to 50, we're going to give deductible and out-of-pocket credit on all our insurance policies. So that's exciting. There's a web portal they send them to. It's EOBs or a carrier report from the carrier. Very easy to submit that, and extremely excited about getting that out-of-pocket credit, because a lot of carriers today only give deductible credit.
So you said 2 to 50, but All Savers is 5 to 50.
Excuse me, you caught me on that. I need to fix that slide too.
But you also,
But let me say, some markets, the reason I put that in there, which is on the slide I copied that from, markets, there are 5 test markets right now that are testing the 2 to 4 segment, 2 to 5, I guess you'd say 2 to 4 segment. So there's a chance that we'll be able to go all the way down to 2 lives, where today we start at 5.
It depends on your market here.
Depending on your market. So
you
there are,
know what happens with agents when we tell them the secret.
you start selling stuff, yes.
Is they go,
Right, right,
what am I getting
right.
All Savers down to 2?
Right.
But there's a good possibility, and some carriers do go down to today, that we are testing in 5 markets in the 2 to 4 product. And I have a feeling it's going to take off as well. Like I said, once again, it's underwritten. It'll probably be an application process, but it gives that smaller group an option where they don't now. We used to be 10 lives and above.
Yeah.
We dropped it to 5.
You're missing a whole segment of this.
Exactly.
So,
So excited about that. So I'll let you know, and if your specific market, we'll find out if it's available down to 2 already.
That's great. So I guess at this point, we'll open it up for some
Yes.
Q&A. obviously after today, if anybody's got questions, they can reach out to our office. Again, join the conversation. I'm still hustling for the 5-star Google review. So if you had it on your task list and you just keep ignoring it, I'm asking you today, do me a favor, go out and give us that 5-star review. All right, Tom's got a question here.
Jess says happy birthday to the old man.
Thanks, Jess.
Tom, you want to come on and ask your question?
I can answer it. I can read it.
Can you read it?
I've got 20/20 laser vision. So
Go ahead.
So yes, so those EOBs or deductible credit reports, Tom, can be sent in at any time. There's an email address. There's an once you see the case, we can provide it now. There's an All Savers contact list. With that list, you can upload to the claims requests at uhc.com at any time to get your deductible EOB because people are dragging their feet. You could have, the owner's wife sends her in immediately, but the owner doesn't get his in for 4 months. It doesn't matter. ACA, the rule's a little different. We're a little stricter. We have a lady in our office that has to put those manually on an Excel spreadsheet and submit those all at once. All Savers is a lot more liberal, allows you to send those EOBs in at any time, a year from now, whenever. Because people, like I said, they can pay 6 months after they've left the other carrier, and they want to get that deductible credit or have us reprocess claims. We'll do that for them at that time.
Well, I mean, yeah, you hit it on the head. You get a group that moves we've got groups that are moving right now for a June 1 effective date. So they're on a calendar year deductible today, and they've met, you got someone in the group that's met their deductible. They got a procedure in July, or maybe that first week of June.
Or
They
whatever.
want to make sure that, they don't want to wait 30 days for deductible credit. So they want it now. They can get it now. They can always send it in later to update.
Right.
As more EOBs come in from the old carriers. That's
Yep.
That's great. So there's an actual
Very
portal
open.
now that we're going to be able to send that.
There's an actual one email address. It's only for getting deductible credit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Jess has that question.
Yeah, I can't read that far.
When we convince All Savers to provide the spec and ag breakout as a part of the renewal.
That's a great question. I'm glad.
Read-
That's a
read-
good question because
read-
I've asked.
Read
Jess-
question marks.
I'm glad you asked. We actually
Because Jess is used to true level funding where they give these full bricks. Jess knows I've asked for this till I'm blue in the face. On the quotes, all they give is, that they do break out the insurance cost versus the admin cost on the quote, but it doesn't break down specifically how much goes towards specific, how much goes towards the aggregate cost. What's the admin cost exactly? And we just give total premium amounts, and that's just the way this small product works.
Yeah, the challenge for agents like Jess and even our office is when we're taking an All Savers proposal and we're trying to put it into a format where we can talk about the actual spec premium, the actual ag premium, what the admin fees are, and what your ag factors are. Because it's more than just that net at the bottom.
Oh, of course.
We're trying to show, where the dollars going, and you can work backwards and calculate what those are after the administrative service agreement comes out and after the excess loss policy comes out because it's disclosed there.
Right.
But on that proposal, it's tough, and so.
Because I've asked for it for several times.
So if there's a suggestion box.
Because they'll come back to me and say, it's not a 500 life group where you get those broken, those costs broken.
But
It's
you're
more
giving
of a
us
fully,
claims reports.
more of a fully funded product. So that's the excuse they give me. I agree with Jess. I agree with you. That's, I'm more excited about the out-of-pocket credit than I am about breaking up the cost. So one step at a time, and I'll keep asking for that as I have for Jess and Tom for many
Well,
years.
Jess said he'll buy dinner if you get it done.
I'll do it.
To further the incentive.
I'm still pushing it.
I want an invite for that, just so you know.
Exactly. I'll keep pushing, Jess, I promise.
Okay, do you have any other, so you could raise your hand too, if you have a question, you don't want to type it out, so you can raise your hand on the left-hand side, actually at the bottom of your screen, I apologize. Or type it out. Maybe all.
I don't see any questions popping in here.
And if you have any after, don't hesitate to email Jason or Rick, and then they'll get with me if they don't know the exact answer for it. And we'll get it to you if you think of it, 10 minutes after the call in. So
For sure.
I'm there for you guys. So help any way I can and gals.
For sure. Well, with that, Mark, I really do. I know we were joking about it, but I really do appreciate you taking the time on your day off and on your birthday, coming in and joining us. This is great information to share with our agents. I think I've said it once, I'll say it again. Our relationship with you and with All Savers, it's extremely valuable in our business model. And I hope that our agents see the value in moving groups to All Savers from a fully insured setting, or even some of the other level funded settings where
Sure.
they're not getting access to kind of information and they don't have the flexibility that you have in the All Savers environment. And if you've got cases that you want to look at, or you already have quotes from us on the All Savers product and you want to really dive into those, feel free to reach out to our team. If you don't have a quote from us yet, feel free to reach out. We will get you a quote turned around pretty quick. And with that, we'll
Yeah. Thanks for
Everybody
joining
have a
in.
great day and glad to be here.